Hello friends, welcome to my channel SushantChessWise. Today we are at the next topic and we are going to discuss how to take the initiative, or rather how to decide that how we should act when we have the initiative. So this is the position in front of us. It is white to play. We see that white has these four developed pieces, two bishops, knight and the rook, and black has only three developed pieces, amongst which also see this knight is pinned. There is attack on c6, d7, bishop is not well placed. Moreover, black has lost the right to castle. That is the main factor. Do try to calculate or judge and decide whether white should be able to make a tactic right now, and if it is so, how would you continue from here? And do let me know in the comments what you would have done here. I will show you what happened in the game. See, white sees that he has so much initiative, extra development right now, 4 plus the move 5, and black has only 3. So white immediately thinks of the move, see, rook d7. Point is that after kd7 there is knight e5 check. See, this much we can easily calculate, but many people reject this line thinking that, see, imagining this position, there is only one pawn for the exchange. Generally, one pawn for exchange is slightly less, but what happens if there is any other factor favorable for us? Then one pawn is a very good compensation for the exchange. It means bishop and pawn for rook is a very good, we can say, trade. Especially in this case because the black king is really struggling. See, black king has many moves here. I will show you one by one how most of them can be easily discarded. Let's say the first one, kd6, outright blunder, knight f7 check, white wins the rook back, exchange back. He will be a pawn up. See, this will be extra pawn, and plus, see, two deadly bishops against the knights. Whenever he wants, he can trade the bishops for the knight. Otherwise, the bishops can really harass this king as well. So this is a winning position for white, no doubt. Second, the move, see, king e7. Then what happens? Knight takes knight, pawn takes, bishop takes, rook moves away, and now see, e5. The pinned knight is lost, and if black tries rook b6, the point is that if we take ef, gf, then see both bishops are hanging. But white will just play bishop f3 now, and to h6 he can take e into f6 check, and after gf, just see, move this bishop away to e3 or f4. Two bishops powerful against a rook plus a pawn. Position is of course winning for white. Then the two other moves, king c8 and king e6, come to mind. Black played king e6 in the game, the best chance perhaps. Many think that kc8, the king is safe over there. Of course, it is looking bit safe, but here white can choose between two different ways totally. See, one is knight c6 bc and bishop c6, rook b8, and white can do many things. He can just wait with f3, restrain the knight, we don't allow it to come ahead, and then gradually attack it or use other forces like white wants to do rook d1 here. The second way is more attractive, more attacking. White should play bishop a6 check. This is, we can say, easily understandable in the line kb8. Some students tell king is safe on b8. Very true, king may be safe. Firstly, it is not safe. Secondly, now the see, you can point out that a8 rook is not better than the a6 bishop. Means already materially black is struggling, you can say. Moreover, check this mating net here. Bishop f6, gf, rook d1, very strong. Now the threat is to lift this rook. This is called rook lift. Rook d3 followed by rook b3 mate. So only move c5. Rook d3, threatening mate. So only move c6. And now see, rook d7. Look at the trapped rook on 8. King is trapped. Black cannot trade this rook for this one. Means the rook is dominating. Plus, see, you can just see the king will come to f4, f5, collect these pawns. And black is simply helpless because this rook cannot move up because of the rook d8 check, and the rook would be lost. But the line kd7, where it looks like king will be safer, there comes rd1 check, ke6, bishop check, ke5, and the stunning move re1. See, the king is getting trapped sort of, we can say. Firstly, king can never go to d6 now because of, see, if kd6, then e5 would be a pawn fork, and if any other move, let's say rook b8 or so, then bd2, another good move. Now see, we are trying to use two ideas, either f4 or bishop c3, which makes the position winning for white. To kd4, there is bf7 also, and the bf1 move is also very interesting, where we can try to trap this king on d4. So finally, let's go to the game. Black played ke6, and now knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes, rook is attacked, rook moves to b8. White plays the good move, rook d8. And see, black is really struggling, multiple ideas here. At some point, we want bd5. Main idea is to use f4, f5, trap this king here. And we can note that multiple ways are there. White can, if he wants, he can use the bishop pair, snatch the pawns here, whatever he wants. Bishop can be taken to e3, attack from this diagonal. Okay, so this position is really worse. Let's see what happened. Black tried rook d8, trying to challenge the rook, and here white gets a tactical idea. He plays bd5, check. It's game over. Sort of unexpected move, some students say, but see, the king was not well placed. And see, this diagonal is what white tries to exploit. See the first line here, if king d7, then we just play e5 using the pin on the knight. Now h6 now, trying to attack the bishop. We take ef, hg, bf7 check. See, taking hold of all the three squares here. King has to move away. Then rook takes, fg, and the pawn promotes to queen. I must tell you one thing here. Many students suggest the line bf7 here, but after bf7, king moves away, and after rook d8, e5, black has the saving resource, rook f8. Of course, he is worse here as well. He is not better, but this position is not totally winning like the other line. So e6 will allow kd6, as you can see. Anyways, in the game, black chose to play bd5, and after bd5, bd8, rd8. Many suggest the move e takes d5 here, okay, but white preferred rook d5 in the game. See, he is 2 pawns up now, and he is returning 1 pawn on d5. We'll see why. First, let me show you if black avoids the trade of rook. Many would say that this is the best practical chance. Very true, but after see rook a5, rook b7, b3, very strong move. White has the simple plan. The king will walk from e3, d4, and then c4, c5, either go c6 and win a7, or the even stronger technique, play kc4 and push b4, b5. This is the so-called collective advance. The pawns advance along with the king, and we get a passer over there. So white will win. In the game, black chose to resign because the other line, rook d5, ed, kd5, kd2, this is also not pleasing. Same way, white has the plan C. He will go first kd3, and then b4, c4, a4, and see, finally squeeze the king side here also with h4, h6, and all this happening. Pawns get blocked, and ultimately the b pawn becomes passer. So king attends the b pawn, and our king enters from this side. That is the overall story. This is how we convert these kind of one pawn of positions. I have discussed about all this in my king and pawn endgame lessons. Creation of pass pawn techniques are there. You can check out my playlist on pawn endgames and practical endgames as well. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for your like.